Hey everyone, welcome to our NFL Super Bowl Best Bets video. So we'll be looking at the best bets for the Super Bowl game that we have coming up Sunday. We have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. And like I said, this is going to be the betting portion. So we'll be looking at the spreads, the money lines, and the over-under, and trying to predict what we think that final score will be. So hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get things started. So like I had mentioned, we have the Super Bowl coming up at 6:30 p.m. on CBS Sunday, February 11th. The 12-5 San Francisco 49ers versus the 11-6 Kansas City Chiefs. We have the 49ers coming in here as a number one seed. They made it all the way to the playoffs. They've kind of been up, they've kind of been down so far through the playoffs, but they got past the Detroit Lions. That was a crazy game. They were down by 20-something points first half, rallied second half. Defense has been pretty questionable so far during the playoffs, but they do have a top 3 NFL ranked defense. It's just they haven't performed well in the playoffs, but obviously that's what they're bringing into this game, a top 5 defense as well as a top 5 offense. For Kansas City, this is not the Kansas City team of old. Usually they are an offensively focused team, always having a top 5 offense. That's not the team this year. They are actually bringing a top 5 defense in this year, but a pretty average to slightly below average offense. But it really doesn't matter once you get to the playoffs. Why does it not matter? Because they have experience. This is their 4th time going to the playoffs with this team. They still have Andy Reid, they still have Travis Kelce, and they have Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL. They have the experience factor. Do not overlook that. Even though they didn't play well throughout the regular season, that experience factor definitely is a major upgrade. That's what can carry you through the playoffs, especially playing a really good team like the 49ers, because if the 49ers falter, if Kansas City's defense can control the offense of the 49ers, keep the game close, if it's a one-possession game at the end of the game, that's where Patrick Mahomes can shine, because obviously we know they're going to be forcing the ball a lot to Travis Kelce. There's nothing wrong with that. No one has ever been able to stop them, so keep doing it till it doesn't work anymore. Pacheco has also been having a really good season so far running the ball. He's really come on in the playoffs, so look for them to try to get the rushing game going. Look for Travis Kelce to be getting a lot of third down catches. Definitely trying to get that first down. Now, coming in here and looking at these team stats here. Well, let's just look at the quarterback matchup first. So you have Brock Purdy, had a really good regular season, actually had a better regular season than Mahomes, but obviously we know that that's not Mahomes' fault. He had a pretty questionable wide receiver core so far this year. So yeah, there's Rice and all of those guys, but they had a lot of drop passes. They were number 1 or number 2 in the NFL in drop passes. Everybody had Butterfingers. Tony probably had about 30 drop passes just himself. Now, Purdy comes in here 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 11 picks. Mahomes comes in 4,200 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 picks. A lot of those picks, probably half of them, were actually batted balls from crappy wide receivers. So them dropping the ball and batting it up and then it getting picked off by the cornerback or the safety. And that's not on Mahomes. Looking at the team stats here, you have the 49ers coming into this game, and they're averaging 28.9 points per game. They do have a top 5 offense. Kansas City's coming in, they average 21.8 points per game. An average to slightly below average offense there. And on defense, these teams are basically a lock. So 49ers give up 17.5 points per game. Although, like I mentioned previously, the defense has been somewhat susceptible so far during the playoffs. They didn't play well versus the Packers. They had Love looking like Aaron Rodgers, and they didn't play well versus the Lions. Especially first half, they were getting gashed, rushing the ball, passing the ball. They look horrible on both sides of the ball. Obviously, they played really good second half, but that first half definitely left a lot of question marks. And Kansas City gives up 17.3 points per game. Kansas City hasn't given up more than 27 points so far this year. They've been winning their games really close, not carried by the offense. So Patrick Mahomes knows that he doesn't have to light it up. He doesn't have to throw for 300, 350 yards. He can easily throw for 200, 250 yards, and they can win a game 21-17, 24-21. Keep it low scoring. As long as that defense keeps it within one possession, Kansas City's offense, due to their experience, they're very top-heavy. They're not deep. Basically, a lot of their players aren't good. They're definitely not number one options on any other team. But you have Mahomes, you have Kelsey. If you need to get a touchdown, fourth quarter, 2 minutes left, just those two guys can definitely carry you down the field to get a touchdown. That's what the Chiefs bring into this game. They're not going to win shootouts. They're not going to win 40-34, but they can definitely win 24-21, something like that. Low-scoring games led by their best players performing. But these defenses for both of these teams, they're basically a lock. They both have top 5 defenses. 49ers have the edge on offense, but that offense is going to be playing a really good defense in this Super Bowl. Looking at what Vegas is looking at. So Vegas is going with San Francisco getting the win. They have San Francisco winning by 1.5 points, and the over-under is 47.5. So they have this game being really close. That definitely makes sense because you have two really good defenses playing. So the odds of this game being a shootout, I would say they're probably pretty low just because Kansas City hasn't scored very many points the whole playoff so far. Mahomes hasn't lit it up at all, but he has no picks in the playoffs. They're playing really conservative. They're playing really smart. Not because they have to, but because that's all that they have to do to win, because the defense is going to keep the game competitive. Just don't do anything stupid. Don't try to get out of control. Where things could change is if the 49ers are somehow able to force Kansas City to play catch-up. If they're able to get in front early. If San Francisco wins the coin toss, I would actually take the ball first half. I wouldn't defer till second half. I'd want to go down the field, score, force Kansas City's offense to be playing behind you the whole game. I wouldn't let Kansas City get in front because their defense is so good. And where they lack is the offense. So I would force their offense to have to take control of the game and for them to always be playing behind. Personally, I think that's the key here for the 49ers. If they win the coin toss and they defer, I think it's pretty questionable and it's being way too passive in this game. I would not let the Chiefs control the pace of this game early. Their defense is way too good. You don't want to get behind because you might not be able to catch up. Their offense is not good. But as long as their defense plays well, the offense will go down the field and score when they have to. And that can definitely be the difference in this game. So who am I picking to win this game? The 49ers, obviously, they are the slight favorites here. Just kind of looking at how ESPN is breaking down their projections. Basically, 59.4% of people are going with San Francisco. That's a pretty big... That's actually a lot higher than I thought it would, because I think a lot of people are still underestimating the Chiefs, but every time you underestimate them in the playoffs, they still keep winning. No matter what, they still keep winning. Can they pull this game out? Can Andy Reid get another Super Bowl? If they do, then they're getting into the GOAT conversation. Now, I'm not saying that Mahomes and Reid are GOATs. I'm just saying Tom Brady's retired, so someone else has to take the mantle of basically the modern-day GOAT going forward for football for the next 10 years. But when I'm looking at who I think is going to win, I actually have the 49ers getting the close win here. I have them winning 27-24. I have them covering the spread, and I'm going with the under. I'm in no way underestimating the Chiefs. If the Chiefs win this game, I would in no way be surprised due to experience. They are not the better team in any way whatsoever, but I think due to experience, they can definitely win this game. 49ers, obviously, they have the best roster in all of football. They have so many playmakers. They have Brock Purdy having a really strong year. They have Christian McCaffrey, who's the best running back in all of football. They have Ayuk. They have Deebo Samuel. They are healthy. They have Kittle at tight end. And the Chiefs basically have Mahomes and Kelsey. You know, there's other decent players there. There's Pacheco and Rice. But they're not number ones on any team. Obviously, 49ers have the way better roster. They have the better defensive roster, but don't overlook the Chiefs' defense either. But I have 49ers getting the win, 27-24 covering the spread, and I'm going with the over. So that's my breakdown of the game for the best bets for the Super Bowl. Hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below and I'll make sure to respond. Thanks.